Greetings, programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews. I know, once again, it's been a while, but full-time job, technical issues, a lot of other things. Still around, still doing stuff when I can. Today, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what was actually a birthday present from a friend of mine, but this thing was too cool, I had to get in front of the camera. This is the RX-78 GP01fb full Burnern Gundam mobile suit thingy. I will say, while I'm still not 100% sure on all the lore about this thing, I can tell you this is the upgraded version of this suit. This is the one that can actually go into space. This was from one of the OVAs. I want to say it was Stardust Memory, I think it was. Haven't watched it, but I can at least say I'm a little bit more versed in my Gundam stuff now. I have actually built a number of high-grade model kits. I'm actually currently building the real-grade Destiny Gundam, so while I'm no lore expert here, I do have a little bit of knowledge of the series now compared to what I used to. And I've also learned a few more things about this figure line. Namely that, one, it being a quote-unquote, 6-inch figure line is weird, since all the actual Gundam model kits and most Gundam stuff that they release is actually specifically scale models. So this being just arbitrarily 6 inches tall is a little odd. And apparently I've been getting very, very lucky, because I only have 2 figures from this whole line. I do still have this guy. This is the only other one I've got. So both of the ones I have from this line were gifts. And it turns out both of the ones that I've been given are, better than most of the line in terms of posability. Which is, it's weird, but I actually think it's really cool. Before we go over this guy specifically, we will go ahead and just cover what else comes with him. And it's basically the same as what came with the guy I looked at before. You get a clip for attaching to a figure display stand, and you get literally the exact same hands. I cannot tell any difference between the hands that came with the new guy and the hands that came with the old guy. So I think they're just blatantly giving every, Gundam Legends figure the same 4 hands. Which, fair. They work really well. Don't bother trying to fix something that doesn't need fixed. So, looking at this guy, this freaking guy, this thing is so awesome. Let's go ahead and bring him up here so you can see. New lighting doesn't quite get in there for the face, but you can see, really, really clean paint apps for the face. Face plate, I guess, technically, yes, somewhere in here, probably around here, there's actually a dude in the big robot. Really, really clean paint apps. I'm actually very impressed at how good of a job they have done here. You do have to do some very mild assembly of this guy when you get him out of the box. Namely, the backpack is not on, nor are these pegged into the backpack. So you do that, and obviously you shove the beam saber handles up here, and then just shove that onto his back. But it's hard not to go just outright gush mode on this thing. I love this figure so much. And what I was saying about the me getting apparently very lucky on these things is, I guess it's a big thing that some of these guys, they just have outright subpar posability. Not in terms of, because obviously, the model kits are going to have better posability than a figure. The model kits, because they are really high part count, you put them together so they don't have to have machines do all that stuff. It makes sense that the model kits can move better than the actual figures. But I guess a lot of the figures in this line are just like really, really hampered on how far their joints can move. And this guy does not have any of those issues. So, and one other thing to go over before we get into the actual posability is the beam effect. You actually only get the one with this figure. It's actually a lighter, more pastel pink than came with the this guy. That guy's name I can never remember. I apologize. And you do also only get the one, which is a little bit of a bummer because it would be nice to be able to have him shoot and do the beam sword, or do 2 beam swords or something. But is what is, works. Let's go ahead and look at the rifle really quick. Very, very nice molded details all over this thing. As I look through the viewfinder, it looked like that could move, and I'm like, wait, did I miss something? No, I did not miss something. It just looks like that. But yeah, this is a really, really nicely done little rifle blaster thing. Trying not to use the words that make YouTube mad. I would like to get monetized someday. But yeah, so let's go over the articulation on the figure. First thing to note is the backpack. After you've got it together, you have a whole, 3, 4, can't remember how to count these properly, but you have a whole bunch of joints up in here for these thrusters on the back. You've got the pin that actually is attaching them, which is your first joint. Then you end up with the actual hinge right there. And then you can rotate them on top of that. So, a lot of stuff you can do with these if you take the time to mess around and pose them. Head is on a ball joint, so you get good bit of wiggle and waggle, up and down, full rotation. Very busy head sculpt in the best way without hindering the posability, really. And it looks like, it's a little hard to tell, but I think the neck actually has a little bit of motion there as well. So, double ball joint in the neck. That's cool. The big shoulder pylon things here are, we're going to pop off the backpack while we're doing this just for easier demonstrations. The shoulders here are on their own little ball joint that's actually attaching right up underneath there. So they rotate a little bit, move up and down to let you do stuff with the arm, which they will actually let you put him in, full T-pose if you want. You have a ball joint all the way up there as well, which lets you have a little bit of a butterfly effect. Bicep swivel. And yes, when you have this many joints in an arm, you do have to hold one part to move the other part. Welcome to high articulation figures. Double jointed elbow, so you actually do get a full range of motion in there, which is really nice. And I guess that's most figures in this line would stop there with an 85 degree, not even full 90. This guy's got everything. Ball joint in the wrists, so rotation and wiggle. Ball joint here in the torso doesn't get you a ton of motion, but there are also some slightly floating filler pieces, like this white piece here in the just behind the skirts. That's actually just sitting there floating, so it could be sitting in just the right spot to get in the way a little bit, but you still get a bit of rotation, some back and forth on it. The skirts are easy to pop off, I will warn you, but in a good way. They're actually made to just come off very, very easily, so you don't risk actually damaging them. And you can see there's just this little barrel with a hole in the side that they're attaching to. So you get rotation there. You know, a bit of back and forth. Not a ton of back and forth, but there's some there to help let the legs move a little bit. These ones also move up and down some, and also can move in and out. Not going to try to rip that one off. This one, oh, never mind. Just as I say that, it comes off. But yeah, so yes, you will have to pop these back on now and then, especially if you pose them a little too aggressively, but I would rather that than broken pieces. Getting these as out of the way as you can. Leg goes forward that far, back that far. The back panel does not move at all. Completely static. There is actually a hinge for the spot where the thigh is actually attaching, which, yes, that is a ball joint on its own, by the way. But you can shift the leg up and down, which will let you get a little bit more range for certain directions. Thigh rotation in there, underneath the ball joint. Double jointed knee gets you good little bit past 90 degrees there, which again, I guess a lot of these guys don't even have a full 90. So again, people just happen to randomly buy me the ones that have the good posing. The same double jointed, not double jointed, but like double ball jointed ankles. So you get some forward and back shifting, rotation, a little bit of pivot. It's hindered quite a bit by the shape of the lower leg here, but I don't care. I'm very happy to work with that. Go ahead and give him his backpack again. Yeah, it's funny, for as smoothly as the backpack pegs on, you know, I'm sure if I went nuts shaking it, yeah, it would fall off, but it does actually hold in very, very well for as soft of a connection as that is. So overall, this is a really, really awesome figure. You know, yes, again, it's not a model. The models are going to do way more posing than this guy is. I say again, I'm not sure if I'm even going to use the earlier take where I talked about this before, but so maybe this is the first time I'm saying it. I'm not sure. We'll see how it comes out in the editing. I haven't gotten to do this for a while, and I'm still too stupid to ever script anything. But, you know, it's not a model. It's not going to have the really wide range of posing that, you know, especially something like this high grade's got. It's insane what this figure can do. This thing has like actually scared me a few times going through and messing with it. I'm really excited for when I finally have the time to finish building it. I cannot wait to see this thing built, and I'll probably see if I can ask my buddy Zachamus to actually panel line it, because I love that they're using like different colors of white to break it up even before panel lining. I need to trim some of my sprue burrs there too, better. But yeah, not reviewing this thing, but you know, I understand the kits. I do the kits. I know that this is not as good as the kits. However, as a figure, as a 7 or 6-inch figure, this thing's great. You know, I'm aware that we have the subpar ones that don't even have the 90-degree bends, and that's lame. There is no reason for a 6-inch figure in this day and age to not at least have 90-degree range on the elbows and the knees. So be careful when you get these figures. I'm not going to say, you know, oh, all of them are so good. No, there are definitely some duds out there that I've seen people looking at. This one is not one of the duds. This one is really cool and is definitely worth snagging if you get a chance. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around while I'm taking my random, way too long hiatuses. And I'll see you next time.